Hello everyone, this is the Black Nationalist coming back at you with another video. This is a video, I'm surprised I'm not doing my live, right? But that's okay. But today's video, it's something important that has been on my mind, and I do know that I have said in previous videos that I wanted to talk about it, and that is with black feminism and the damage that it has caused in our black community. Now, we do know that J. Edgar Hoover, who is a former head of the FBI, when he was asked what was the greatest threats to the United States of America, and he said Negro unity, we should not be surprised as to why there's so much dysfunction with this gender war that we are seeing every single day, the black man versus the black man versus the black woman. Well, let's take a look at this one feminism that I really cannot stand. I have a disdain for. Her name is Gloria Steinem. Now, she first came across the radar of black men in 1978 when she put a book called Black Macho and the Myth of the Superwoman on the cover of Miss Magazine, which is a magazine that she controlled. Now, the book was written by a black feminist or activist named Michelle Wallace, who came out of nowhere. And we all know that black people who come out of nowhere, they tend to be no good for us. They really tend to be no good for us. I mean, look at Obama. That man came out of nowhere in Chicago. People like me who lives in Chicago was like, where in the world this man come from? And then all of a sudden he's a president, and we see how he turned out to be. Now, Wallace was in her early 20s at the time, yet she was being touted out as the leader of black feminism. And in the book, Wallace called abolitionists like Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth ugly and stupid for supporting black men. She said black revolutionaries were chauvinistic macho pigs and advised black women to go at it alone. Gloria Steinem said that Wallace's book would define the future of black relationships, and she pushed hard to make sure the book received massive publicity. However, when it came out that Gloria Steinem was probably the ghostwriter of the book with Michelle Wallace's name on it, Wallace had a nervous breakdown and she went into hiding for 2 years. However, the damage was done and the hate black man movement was off and running. Now, we do know that the black relationship of today is dead. It's dead. There's no coming back from it. So we have the FBI who said that the greatest threat was Negro unity. And then we had this CIA operative in the early 70s, to the late 70s, and the work with the feminism. She came out with her hatred for black men, and she used black women to push her narrative. And then we see how, just like when it came to the IQ, there's this book. I can't think of the name of the book, but it goes into talking about how the IQ, after the IQ came out as being racist, and that the test really does not hold any value. And when they tried to come back to make changes to it, the damage was already done by saying that black people have low IQs, when we know that the IQ was really a test for white people, because white people were being outdone intellectually by black people and other groups of people as well on this earth. They was being beaten out intellectually by white people. So white people had to make a change. So they had to make a change by saying that black people were inferior and stupid and dumb. And they had major backings behind them with a lot of donor money in order to push this narrative. So the same thing was said with Gloria Steinem with the CIA, pushed the narrative of the hey black man, saying that black woman, you can go at it alone. You don't need a black man. But here are a couple of facts about Gloria Steinem that I want to break out. So in 1958, Steinem was recruited by CIA Cord Myers to direct the informal group of activists now called the Independent Research Service. This was part of Myers' Congress for Cultural Freedom, which created magazines like Encounter and Partisan Review to promote a left liberal cheek to oppose Marxism. It was this operation that Steinem's student festivals was a part of. Besides spying on students, Steinem also acted as an agent provocateur, helping to provoke riots. Now, we do know today when riots does take place in the black community because of some form of injustice that happened to our people, we be seeing people dressed in black. Do we not be seeing people dressed in black that be busting out windows, that be busting out cars, overturning cars, and then just graffitiing all over the buildings in our community, and yet we get blamed for it? Well, Gloria Steinem, she was in a situation like that, part of the CIA operative, where she provoked riots. That's a fact about her. Another fact is that she dated Henry Kissinger, who was an international war criminal. And if you don't know who Henry Kissinger is, I advise you to look him up. He's an establishment technocrat and a longtime CIA operative for years. And I believe that he also trained Obama. If I'm not mistaken, there was a documentary that I had saw years ago that he also helped train Obama. So why would you have a radical feminist date someone who is considered a mass murderer by everyone in the movement? Well, Henry Kissinger, he's not a Jew. He's a Jew, if I'm not mistaken. Gloria Steinem, she's a Jew. So you see, this is why I'm like, white people, white women in particular, they may be feminists, but guess what? They still value their men. So Gloria Steinem, she may have dated this Henry Kissinger, who is a war criminal. He's a Jew. She's a Jew. So she is not going to bring that ideology to her people, because her people, they are not going to allow it. And so this goes right into, since I already covered as to the breakdown of the family unit in the black community. Within the black community, we had two alphabet entities that did not like black unity, and then we had another one that she did not like black men, and she wanted black women to have the same hatred that she had for black men, which we are going to talk about abortions. You see, black women have the highest abortion ratio in the country, with 474 abortions per 1,000 live births. Percentages at this level illustrates that more than 19 million black babies have been aborted since 1973. That's 19 million. That could have been a Martin Luther King. There could have been a Coretta Scott. There could have been a Malcolm X. That could have been someone who could have cured cancer. That could have been someone who could have cured HIV, AIDS. All women destroying the babies in the wombs. That's what they are doing. Black women disproportionately lead in the numbers. So, for example, in Mississippi, 79% of abortions are attained by black women. In Washington, D.C., more than 60%. In Georgia, 59.4%. In Alabama, 58.4%. Black women aborting at 2, 3 or more times their presence in the population. And at every income level, black women have higher abortion rates than whites or Hispanics. Black women are 5 times more likely to have an abortion than white women. A recent study released by Protecting Black Life, which is an outreach of Life Issues Institute, concluded that 79% of Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities are strategically located within walking distance of African communities. And you want to know why? Because abortion is steeped in population control agenda. It's steeped within the population control agenda. And our people don't even realize, especially our black women don't even realize that you are pushing Margaret's goal, which we are going to get into for Planned Parenthood. Now I'm going to quote some of President Richard Nixon, some of his quotes. And he said, as I told you, we talked about it earlier, that a hell of a lot of people want to control the Negro bastards. This is taken from the White House tape 700 by 10, Monday, April 3rd, 1972. He also said, a majority of people in Colorado voted for abortion. I think a majority of people in Michigan are for abortion. I think in both cases, certainly in Michigan, they will vote for abortion because they think that's what's going to be aborted generally are the little black bastards. He said this on the White House tape 697 by 29, Thursday, March the 30th, 1972. He also said, you know what we are talking about, population control. This is what it all has been about, population control. Now, Margaret Sanger, who is the founder of the American birth control movement of Planned Parenthood, she was the leading spokesperson and activist in promoting of the controlling the birth rates among blacks and others considered genetically inferior. She became a formidable force when pushing her Negro Project, designed to employ black leaders to promote first birth control and later abortion as viable option for family planning. Now, this woman, she said in a letter that she wanted to exterminate the black race. Who was another race of people that they tried to exterminate? It was the Jews. So this woman, this white supremacist, Margaret Sanger, who is the founder of Planned Parenthood, okay, whom I believe Hillary Clinton really do have admirations of for her, wanted to exterminate the Negro race. Now, remember, Sanger, with her, she wanted the black leaders to promote this birth control and abortion within the black community. There was one voice, however, Marcus Garvey, who strongly denounced birth control and abortion as detrimental to the survival of the black race, which is correct. Remember, I just read off to you that since 1973, there has been 19 million black abortions of our children. We make up 13%. Just imagine if those numbers, if those individuals would have been here, those numbers would be higher than 13%. Now, other black leaders or organizations who did support Margaret was W.E.B. Du Bois, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., pastor of the Assemblian Baptist Church in Harlem, the National Urban League, Mary McLeod Bethune, founder of the National Council of Negro Women, J.T. Braun, editor-in-chief of the National Baptist Convention Sunday School Publishing Board in Nashville, Tennessee. So we had these so-called black leaders. They was pushing this on our people. This is the reason why you have certain people that have their disdain towards black leaders. We don't need a black leader. You should be your own leader. We do not need them because sometimes they can lead you over a cliff and you not even realizing you over here looking at them and they leading you over a cliff. They leading you down the wrong path into a black hole that you cannot get yourself up out of. Now, Planned Parenthood was supported by funds provided through such foundations as those headed by Fords, Rockefellers, Carnegies, Gates, Soros, we all heard of Soros, and other pro-abortion forces deliberately craft messages that play on the fear of some blacks that a lack of access to abortion is somehow discriminatory, which we know that is not the case. That is the reason why that Roe versus Joe, I believe, well, hold on. It is the Roe versus Wade. The Roe versus Wade. That is the reason why you had so many up in arms. When I do remember when Tariq Nasheed went over it and he showed the interview. And I remember posting the interview. I think I have it pinned onto my Facebook page as to how she made up that lie that she was raped by a black man. What it was, she just didn't want the child because I believe she had relations with a black man. She just did not want that child. Now, Michael Novak, the George F. Jewett scholar at the American Enterprise Institute, said, since the number of current living blacks in the U.S. is 31 million, the missing 10 million represents an enormous loss for, without abortion, America's black community would now number 41 million. It will be 35% larger than it is currently. Abortion has swept through the black community, cutting down every fourth member. So I want you to consider this. If those 10 million children had not been aborted, the voting power of the black community would now be at 16% nationally rather than the current 13%. But see, it's my body. It's my choice. Well, you know what? Every action has consequences, which is the reason why you have yourself a guilty conscience because of what you have done to your body, all because you wanted to commit genocide in the womb. All because of you over here having just reckless, unprotected sex, and you want to sit up and say, oh, is the black man should have protection? It should be you to have the protection. Why? Because you are the gatekeeper. You are the gatekeeper. Okay? No one told you to go with a man and have unprotected sex. There is over 27 contraceptives out here. There is so many out here that you could take, so many forms of birth controls that you can actually take to prevent a child from coming into this world. But whatever happened to getting married? But see, black women are the least desired and wanted to be someone's wife. And we have to see this, that abortion is the leading cause of death for Black Americans, more than all other causes combined, including AIDS, violent crimes, accidents, cancer, and heart disease. More than 16 million Black babies have died by abortion. Approximately 360,000 preborn Black babies are aborted every year, nearly 1,000 per day. Margaret Sanger's Negro Project in 1939 was intended to stop the growth of the Black community, and our dumbass Black women are over here fulfilling that damn woman's dream by aborting 19 million children since 1973. 19 million children, and I'm sure that number has gone up. 62% of Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities are within walking distance, 2 miles, a relatively high Black population. What do you have to say to that? Huh? What do you have to say to that? This is how far gone the Black community has gotten. And we have allowed white supremacists, people who hate our guts, people who hate us to destroy our community. I have read off the numbers for you. I have read off the individuals' names of the people who have a disdain for us. There's a reason why the government has spent so many billions and billions and billions of dollars into the destruction of the Black community and to the destruction of the Black families. When you destroy the Black family, you're going to get a divided household where you allow any and everything bad to come into that household to further decimate what was already struggling. Could completely destroy what was already struggling. Our Black boys need their Black fathers. Our Black girls need their Black fathers. Our Black women needs their Black men, their Black husbands. That's exactly what they need. But no, you have these damn passports, and then you have these Black women want to go over here to Italy looking for love when we should really be looking for love between each other. But when we have government agencies over 50 decades, okay, over 50 decades have been put into our lives to destroy. It's no wonder why we cannot come together. We cannot come together because we have a common enemy, and that is white supremacy. But yeah, our people, for some odd reason, don't even understand it and or want to grasp it. They don't want to grasp that part. Okay? We have a common enemy, and that is white supremacy. White supremacists want us done away with. They want our numbers to drop. They want our numbers to go because their numbers are dwindling. So when white people see that their numbers are dropping, they want Black people's number to drop to practically zero, because in their mind, they are superior where we are inferior, and we don't deserve to be on this earth. That is in their mind. That we are inferior, they are superior, and they deserve to be on this earth, not us, which is the reason why we have so much infighting. People, we have a lot of infighting, and it is because of white supremacy, because of these governments. And I have read off to you the amount of people who have poured numbers into Planned Parenthood, Ford, the Rockefellers, all of them. They have all put their money in Soros, George Soros. He is the main one, the biggest one, and he's still alive, if I'm not mistaken, who was pushing all of this activity to help exterminate the Black race. But our people they can't seem to see that. They cannot seem to see that, and it's a shame. We are killing our babies. We are killing our next generation. All because you can't practice safe sex. You can't control your sexual desires. That's why you got black women out here twerking everywhere you go. You got them twerking at the graveyards on the casket. You got them twerking out in the middle of the street on top of cars during the middle of traffic. I kid you not. You see that. You don't see anybody else doing that. It is our women. Our women has become so overly sexualized. It doesn't make any sense. That's why I don't even listen to the so-called hip hop of today, because all of it is just about sex. And you got all these women showing their breasts, always want to show their mouths open with their tongues out, always want to show their vaginas and carrying on. Who cares about all of that? Doesn't that make you special? That makes you look like a goofball. That makes you look like a whore. That makes you look like a slut. That makes you look like nothing but a cum basket. That is it. That's all you good for. And then you want to get mad at the black man for over here looking at you as a sexual object and nothing more and nothing less. You all, black women, you all need to get yourselves together, okay? This is the reason why black men are leaving and jumping ship. This is the reason why other groups of men don't even want to be bothered with you as well. They don't want to be bothered with you. You may think that they like you. They don't like you. It's just only slaves play. It's the same way with black men. It's just only lusts, only slaves play. That's all it's about. That is all it is about. Now I have given you all the information. What are you going to do about it? Make sure that you like and subscribe and share this video because it is very important. I hope you all have a good one.